Topic 3, last topic of the day. And this is going to be my topic, and I am talking about video game delays. Because we're fresh off, 48 hours of Final Fantasy 15 being delayed. I haven't really slept much. And I'm very, very angry because I've been waiting for 10 years. And so I'm curious to know what all you guys think about video game delays. Not video game delays in general, but how specifically video game delays affect your opinion on the game. So does it have a negative effect on your opinion in the future when it comes out, or does it have a positive one? Are you usually of the mindset that it ends up benefiting the game because they get more time to work on it? Or are you like, they've already been working on it for 10 years like me, and I'm pissed?
It's hard to tell. In all honesty, when a game is delayed, there's two outcomes. Mm-hmm. There's the game is pushed, and then The Witcher 3 comes out, because that was delayed.
That's a very good point.
Mm-hmm. And then there's a game that's pushed for 30,000 years, and then Mighty Number 9 comes out. There's two gigantic contrasts. There's a great game, and then like total acid tree that comes out. It just depends on what you're looking at.
Yeah.
And when it comes to something like Final Fantasy 15, in terms of waiting, I can wait an extra 2 months. I've waited 10 years. I can wait 2 months.
Would you agree that the way in which the developer delays the game plays an effect on how you feel about
it? And who knows how much truth they're telling in the first place, but always, initial reaction plays key for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it depends on the game series itself and the developer. So, like, when Naughty Dog pushed back Uncharted 4, I wasn't worried about anything because it's Naughty Dog. It's always
the first
high
or second
caliber.
time, because that was twice.
I thought it was.
It was twice. It was supposed to be October and then May.
I think it was twice in
I
this
remember
year.
it being
early this year they delayed it, and then they delayed it again later in the spring. So I think it was.
I thought it was originally supposed to come out in October. They pushed it back to May.
Yeah, remember?
And then May to June.
Yeah, but then
the second one wasn't that bad though.
Yeah, it was like a 2-week delay or something.
Yeah.
So there was just still, I think there ended up being like 3 delays in like over the course of like a 365-day period.
Yeah. So I mean, but it's because it's Naughty Dog, I wasn't worried about it because you have this past record of look at how amazing the past generation of games that they've put out.
4 perfect games in a row. I'm sure number 5 will be.
Yeah, will be just as
4
good.
near perfect games. Sorry.
Yeah.
But I mean, you look at other games too, like Mighty Number 9, and the now like classic example of Duke Nukem Forever. That game got delayed and switched developers, and by the time it came out, no one cared.
It was great. Nope.
It was great 15 years ago.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
But
remember that intro scene? If you played it. Yeah, I'm not gonna tell you. It's explicit. It's explicit.
But either way, that's a way that you do delays wrong, and overall it hurts it because it got to a point where Duke Nukem Forever coming out was just a joke among gamers.
I mean, I would say the same thing with Final Fantasy and Last Guardian.
Yeah, with Versus 13, that was a joke, and then we saw 15, like, okay, this is a real thing now.
It was still a joke up until about last year, though.
Yeah.
And then, ironically, they hold an event. They announce.
Oh, yeah.
They have this huge thing where they're like, we're going to have 15 announcements because we're celebrating Final Fantasy 15 coming out. And then, at the very end, they roll a date. It's November 30th. And then they're like, ha, 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 just kidding. Then they roll it back to September.
Mm-hmm.
And then, ironically, months later, it gets delayed to that one day off from that actual day.
Yeah.
we weren't quite lying about it not being November 30th.
Dude, that's a very elaborate April Fool's joke they pulled.
I mean, I honestly thought, I'm like, this is a dream. This is not really happening right now.
And back to what you were saying about Naughty Dog pushing Uncharted, I was like, it's going to be good. Like, and it is. It's fantastic.
You know it's going to be good.
And I would say the same thing about...
Bloodborne was delayed, too.
Which one?
Bloodborne.
Bloodborne was delayed.
Well, I can't think of a game that hasn't been delayed at this point.
Yeah.
It's, for the most part, it happens.
Yeah.
But,
it's happens, like reshoots in movies. It happens.
Yeah, it happens, and you shouldn't freak out about it, but I think there's cause for concern when you're delaying it multiple times, and then you're delaying it when it's been in development for a really long time. Because that usually means that you don't have faith in the product that you currently have to such a point that it's been this far in development that you need to delay it even more.
True, yeah.
That's a good point.
So, to kind of bring this to add another layer to this, how much of the issues with people, or issues that people take with delays have to do with developers and publishers announcing games well over a year,
That's a
2
huge
years
problem.
before
It's a huge.
they're anywhere close
Like,
to
Don't
coming
even do
out.
it.
Yeah, like look at
There's no
Hideo
point.
Kojima
Mhm.
coming out at E3. Like
I don't have a
Metal Gear
release
Solid,
date for this
yeah,
game.
Metal Gear Solid 5 just came out, and he's coming out on stage on E3 announcing his new game.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He
I'm
drinks Konami's tears and makes games. That's his job.
I mean, yeah, which was awesome to see him on
Mhm.
stage. But at the same time, it's like you're announcing a game way too early.
Yeah.
And it's like, and then like, it's realistically that game is probably not going to be played until like
2018.
2019.
Yeah,
I think,
2018,
realistically,
You
yeah.
almost, and because they're getting announced early, you almost expect, okay, this is going to be delayed. That's almost what I expect now. So if you tell me a date, I'm expecting, okay, that's not the date
Yeah.
at this point.
Which is a horrible, horrible thing because like some people have busy schedules and like in months in advance they have to plan. And so like, okay, well this game's coming out. Let me make sure I request a week off. It gets close and then, like it
Depending on,
It
Did you
happened
already
to
do
me
that for
recently.
Final Fantasy?
Well, no, I didn't.
I thought
Thank,
about
thank
it.
God. But I did do it for Halo last year, or not for Halo last year, but for Master Chief Collection 2 years ago. And guess what
Mhm.
happened? The game came out and it was completely broken. They should have delayed it.
Yeah.
You could literally not play it at all. It was an unplayable game.
It's funny that we're mentioning to like putting like set release dates a year in advance. I think the one of the funniest examples I've seen of this recently, and this was actually last year. I think it was last E3, not this past one, but the year before. CD Projekt Red announced their new game. I don't know if anybody knows about this. It's called
It's the
Cyberpunk,
Cyberpunk,
and it
yeah.
says release date when it comes out.
Yeah.
They
Oh
didn't
my
even because they know they're a
Because
small
they've been
team.
working
Good.
on that for a while,
Oh, yeah.
too.
Yeah.
They were just like, we're not going to sugarcoat it. This game's coming out when it comes
Yeah.
out.
Mm.
So, yeah.
But there's that, and then if we're talking about like scary scenarios, not for me personally, but there's the Batman Return to Arkham, the remasters
Yeah.
of Asylum and City for the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, I think.
Yeah.
That has an indefinite delay. So that game, from history of indefinite delays, it's
Mhm.
probably not coming out.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate because those are they have a lot of issues with ports, obviously, because the PC port of Arkham Knight was unplayable.
Yeah, I wonder how much of that is Warner Brothers games, and I've heard a lot of issues with them not really wanting to work with patching stuff. Like Rocksteady, from what I've heard, isn't really the problem with this.
It's more so Warner
It's
Brothers.
more so Warner Brothers.
That's totally I believe it.
You know, because they want to go, okay, well, we want you working on the next thing now.
Yeah.
You know, this is fine. That's why they never patched Arkham Knight on PC.
Yeah. I mean, and it's still to this day broken, right? Or
Yeah.
unplayable.
I
Unplayable.
don't
remember
even think it's
they-
for sale.
Yeah.
I think they took
It's
it
still
off.
no, it's
I think
still
for
on
Steam,
Steam.
it's for
Is it
Steam. It's
still on
still for
Steam?
sale.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that's interesting that that you bring that up because, I mean, there's specifically about like when the game's playable aspect, but like I wish more developers would do that. For example, like Detroit Become Human.
Mhm.
Like, come to find out that game is coming out a little bit sooner than I thought.
Mhm.
But at the same time, I remember when they announced it, I'm like, this game is so far off. 'Cause, like, Beyond just came out.
They announced they had it's based off of a tech
tech
demo from
demo.
2012.
Yeah.
So they've been working on that game for a while, and
Yeah.
then they were really transparent. They were like, "Okay, guys, like this is how far along we are.
Mhm.
Like, here's probably when you can expect it." I'm like, "But it,
Yeah. I think Quantic Dream just needs to get a good game, like a really solid game in again. Because I like Beyond Two Souls.
Mhm.
I
but
enjoyed it.
critically, it wasn't.
It wasn't nearly as good as Heavy Rain or Indigo Prophecy.
Mhm.
See, I'm in like the small percent of people that actually like Beyond Two Souls more than both of those. But
Beyond Two Souls is fine, but it falls into like the problem with the order that it's more you're watching them playing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's the only major
Yeah.
issue that I have with Beyond
Which
Two Souls,
it looks like they're changing that for Detroit.
Yeah.
which is good. Quantic Dream, they had something to do with Until Dawn, right? Didn't
No, they had nothing.
They
to
had
do with
nothing.
Until
no, but
Dawn.
there's a huge comparison. I don't think they had anything to do with it, but everyone was like, "Look at Until Dawn for your next game." Like, and there was a huge comparison
That,
right around when Until Dawn
kind
came
of
out.
makes sense
Because
then,
they're
I never
very,
thought
very
they made
similar.
it, but I thought maybe it was one of those.
Yeah.
They brought
No.
people over for consulting.
They were like, I remember like there's huge articles posted on IGN. And they were like, "Quantic Dream, look at Until Dawn for
how to do the next
how to
game."
do the next
Yeah.
game because the way that they handled choice in that game were so
Yeah.
well. So,
Um,
but yeah, like so bringing it back in just a little bit. What games personally have you guys experienced? Games being like given a date and then like super bummed out when the date ended up getting pushed and you
No
had
Man's
plans
Sky.
to play it.
Corpse Party for the 3DS.
Corpse Party.
I might be the only person, but
That
no,
it sucks.
I forgot that they were reporting it. I remember seeing it and being like, sweet,
Dude,
and then
it comes with the 2 minifigures too. It's
Yeah.
so cool. It's so cute. Nah,
it seems to happen more times than not for me. Like,
I
swear
think
it's, like, every game.
in all honesty, the one that I was like really jazzed for, and then I was kind of bummed was Metal Gear. like Phantom Pain.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That was the only
Yeah.
one, but that's about it. Really.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah.